Firstly, we don't want our chopping board moving around on the surface. This is very slippery, so simple solution to that. We're going to take a tea towel and just wet it a little bit. Slightly damp is fine. Bring it out. And just that little bit of moisture on there just prevents the board from sliding around all over the place. Knife. Onions, 3 ways. What do we mean by that? First of all, we need some onions. Onions. Just come in here. First way we're going to do the onions is really nice and simple. Straight down the middle. Separate them out into quarters. And then we just want to remove all of this papery outer. Get rid of any tricky bits. And I always take this first layer of onion away as well, because I don't think it texturally adds anything to the dish. I think it gets in the way a little bit. So, and then when it comes to time to add these to your dish, just remove the root and just separate them out into the pan. Really nice and simple. It adds bigger pieces and a variety of texture to your cooking. Easy. And now we're upping the complexity considerably. We're going to chop onions a second way. We're just going to cut this into little half moon slices. So nice and easy, nice and steady. Let the knife do the work. You can do this as thickly or as thinly as you like, moving your fingers back as you go, get a hold of the root, and nice and simple, there you go. You can cut that as fine as you like, as coarse as you like. Again, it's just a different texture in the dish. At this point I'm going to have another sup of booze. This is quite a challenge coming up and I need to steady myself. Cheers. So, really upping the complexity now. This is the third way. Now with this, you can do a fine dice, you can do a more sort of rough dice, whatever's called for really within the recipe and whatever you personally prefer. If you do very fine dice, I find when you're making sauces and things like that, it just sort of melts away into the sauce, which is part of the reason for having 3 different ways of cutting the onion, I suppose. Interesting to note, the way this onion has grown, it's in several pieces. We can chop it as one. It shouldn't provide us with too many problems. If you're not confident with your knife work, very simple, remove that. So, slicing as finely or as coarsely as you like, not going all the way through to the root. And then with the knife pointing slightly down, in this case we're going to take several cuts through and just be very careful with that top one, pinching it together from the sides and letting the knife do the work, and just work our way through till we get to the edge and remove that little end root piece there. And see, that's a finer dice than previously. Again, very simply, with what's left over there, all the different bits and pieces that we've got, just run the knife through in one direction, spin it around, and again the other direction, gives you the same result. Any little bits left over, and there we are. Cheers.